You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
You're listening to the Full Count Major League Baseball podcast, your local source for trending Major League Baseball topics, season analysis, fun, objective discussions, and up-to-date coverage of the Toronto Blue Jays organization from right here in the Niagara region. Here are your hosts, Brandon Caputo, Reece and Colin Ward.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to another installment of the Full Count MLB podcast right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. This is your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. Of course, you can find us on social media by following the podcast on Twitter at Armchair GM Pod and our AGM Full Count Pod account that is dedicated to this show specifically. We are available on many listening platforms, including Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, CastBox, and Deezer by searching the Armchair GM's Sports Network. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are on there. Make sure you drop us a like and a subscribe wherever you listen to us. And lastly, check out our user-friendly website, armchairgmsports.com, for all things regarding the network, including articles, podcast episodes, sponsors, and contributors. Now with an easy-to-navigate mobile version, there we go, to go along with our existing desktop website. As always, yeah, I know, right? As always, we're the hosts of your Full Count MLB podcast, Colin Ward. You can follow him at Colin Ward _14 and myself, Reece at Reece. Of course, we run the 0-60 podcast. That's where we make all the dough. Just kidding. We don't make any dough. Oh, well. That was kind of a depressing end to that, but
make it rain.
No big deal. And we've got a lot to talk about this week. Miguel Cabrera chases 500. He's getting to 3,000 hits, but 500, he is one away from hitting his 500th home run. Of course, the Field of Dreams game took place. That was really fun, especially when the Yankees thought they were going to win, and then they didn't. Good times.
Yeah, it was like the old
B-cap.
That's gonna get muted on this show. That's gonna get muted
probably.
On
it probably will.
All you're gonna hear is it blurred out.
Yeah, I know. Oh well, I'm over it.
Yeah. What up?
Yeah, no, lots to get to. I mean, the Jays, they're
out of it.
They're
the world's
right
ending.
Now.
The world's ending.
World's ending.
In Blue Jay land.
That's a typical Toronto sports answer. Just kidding. It's the complete opposite. Oh, we've lost 5 in a row. That's okay. We're still going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. That's a Detroit Red Wing, Denver Bronco fan coming out of me. You lose one game, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. Well, if you've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers play,
call the dogs and be on the fire.
Yeah.
Ball game over.
Yeah. Well, no, I probably shouldn't use Pittsburgh as an example. If you've seen the Hamilton Tiger Cats play.
Yikes. Well, yeah. They got two quarterbacks hurt. Their quarterbacks are both hurt. They're just not saying it. There's no.
Gotta be. I mean, it's tough schedule to start, right? You go Winnipeg and Saskatchewan, right?
Yeah, but when you're one of the top teams, you should be better than that. You shouldn't be losing by that.
Oh, I'm not using that excuse. That's what everyone's saying on Twitter.
Yeah, I know.
Twitter.
Yeah, I know.
All the fake insiders out there.
The Field of Dreams is pretty cool, though. That was sweet.
Yeah.
That was one of the
might as well start there.
That was one of the coolest experiences, I think, like in the last 5-6 years, I want to say, like that I've saw in Major League Baseball. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. Like the start, like the intro was unreal with Kevin Costner coming through the cornfield and stuff like that, like from the movie. That's pretty cool. And then the players coming out like that too, like shaking his hand and stuff. That was pretty neat to see. And the 8,000 fans there was pretty cool. They were all Iowa residents as well, which is nice to have.
Yeah, well, and there's a whole whack of things going on. The MLB logo was made as a corn maze. Like you said, the players walking out on the field. You got that old time scoreboard where a guy got up on the ladder and put the signs up in the specific columns. And then you just had people roaming the set where they actually shot the movie, and all the actors and the players came back. Like that was sick. That people got to be there.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool to me to see like the set where the play, like when they had the home plate camera like up top on like the top of like the media box, like the press box. It was pretty cool to see the old one in the background, like the movie scene in the background. That's pretty cool. And you got to see the house and stuff and like the step. That's pretty neat to have. One thing is, I wish it was a series instead of one game. I get like the one game thing makes it more special, but the one series makes it more viewable because people are not like after that game. It would be tough to follow up the next 2 days, but make it a Sunday night baseball game on the Sunday as well.
Yeah, the Sunday night baseball would be pretty good, pretty cool.
And I just think that'd be pretty cool. Have a night game there, have a day game there, have another day game, then have a night game. Have 2 night games, 2 day games on the 4-gamer. That'd be pretty nice to have.
Because I think I think they kind of planned it around Thursday night they play, and then they had the day off on Friday, right? Going back to Chicago, and then they played the rest on the weekend. But yeah, I don't know about a series. Like 4 games is, I think that's a little much. I think there is that you do got to wear it down. Yeah, the 3 isn't bad. But that's Sunday night baseball idea. That's way better than Thursday night.
Yeah, go Friday night game, Saturday day game on Fox, and then Sunday night on ESPN. Yeah. You get all your North American channels. I mean, the big ones like primetime games, obviously, and it's on primetime viewing hours, really. So that'd be pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and of course it was Fox that had the game on Thursday with Joe Buck and John Smoltz, and that was pretty dope that they had Costner on. I can't remember what inning it was. I think it might have been the 5th or the 6th. Can't remember. But that was pretty sweet. Essentially, Joe Buck just kind of sat back in his chair and just kind of listened to Kevin talk, and that was pretty sweet that they just actually got out of the way of the guest and for a change and just let him talk.
Well, Reece says that we know, like we're calling intercounty Red Sox games, and it's cool. Like when we start having conversations about like certain things. It's not just about the game, but it's about like certain things. Like probably tomorrow night or tonight when it comes out tonight, probably during the Red Sox game, we'll probably be talking about the Field of Dreams thing. It'll probably come up, and we will probably talk about the Kevin Costner like interview like that, and it's stuff like that that really interests you as a fan listening to the game because like it's something that you didn't know. Like I had no idea how like the budget for that movie wasn't a lot of money for that for that movie to film, and they didn't think it was going to be a great success, but obviously the baseball world being so strong, once the fans got hooked on that movie, it was set, right? It was there. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, yeah. And they had a certain time frame to shoot it. They had 2.5 months to actually shoot the film and get it done and be off site. So that's hard. 2.5 months to shoot a whole movie.
It's hard.
You may think that's a lot of time. That's 75 days, you would think. Approximately 75 days, give or take a couple days, but you think, oh, that's enough time to shoot a movie. It should be enough. Well, no, if it takes 3 or 4 takes of one scene, that could take up half an hour to an hour.
So 1 hour and 47 minutes is the timing of the film. So that's not a lot of time. For the amount of time they had, that's not a lot for 1 hour 47. That's like, let's go. Like we got to do 2 or 3 scenes a day. And we got to know our stuff. So that's pretty good for the actors as well. And that movie, it really brought to nowadays, I could say, it really brought the appreciation of the game. Everyone comes from a diamond that played on that. Me being from the country, I mean, everyone knows about playing in the fields and stuff. It's pretty cool to be a lot of people could relate to that game, the Field of Dreams game itself. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so. And the fact that they played a little league game on the movie set, that was awesome. The kid from Chicago running back and goes, "Where's the wall? Where's the ball?" Oh wait, there isn't a wall.
Yeah,
there's corn. So he kind of had to let up. So which sucked. There's a chance he might have been able to catch it. But
Yeah, and also how cool was that wall during the game itself, like the Major League Baseball game?
Yeah,
How
I like
cool
I
was
like that
that?
they had chain. I like that they kept the corn and they didn't just put like a wood
And it looked like
wood wall.
yeah, that looked pretty cool. And like the dugouts looked really cool as well. I thought the
Yeah.
dugouts looked really good. It's just I really like that game. I'm glad they're bringing it back next year because like in my mind it's a must to keep as a year long thing, like tradition. That's pretty could also it would be cool to go to the Sandlot. That'd be cool if they could recreate.
Yeah, we were talking about that beforehand.
Yeah, that'd be cool if they could recreate the Sandlot. And I saw that on Twitter too. I saw on Twitter someone say, "Oh, it'd be nice if we get the Sandlot version on there." And if you could recreate the Sandlot, we saw the Milwaukee Brewers do that a couple of years ago in spring training. There, recreate that video.
Do like a little skit. Yeah,
that would be pretty cool to see them play at the Sandlot Diamond. I know obviously it would have to change for the Sandlot just because like that diamond's obviously really small and it's a movie set
and it's garbage.
So, yeah, so they would probably have to change it someplace in LA. It would take some time probably to reenact that. Other than like the Field of Dreams, obviously it's all corn in Iowa there, so that it was easy to make that ball diamond happen. And that would be interesting. They could do that and like have like we mentioned also before, like we came on there like the Metallica concert at Comerica, how it dyed the grass yellow. You'd have to like it'd be pretty cool to have it like sandy-ish, but the player, like you said, mentioned the Players Association probably wouldn't like that. The players itself probably wouldn't mind it for just one game.
Yeah,
because it'd be cool. But
you get into insurance because those companies run the entire planet. So
yeah, and sponsorships and stuff, right? They don't want players that are making a couple $100 million a year and they're not playing, right? Because they're getting hurt. So that would be tough. But it would be nice if they could do that. Also about the Field of Dreams game, the diamond itself looked in really good shape. They did a really good job with the grass infield and stuff. Like the infield looked really good.
Well, and this also should have been the second annual Field of Dreams game, right?
Yeah,
they were supposed to obviously do it last year, but that got canned. But yeah, like it's that diamond. MLB didn't use it for a year and a half.
Yeah,
and like, the fact that they kept it in such good shape, like that's awesome.
Yeah, and all they had to do is really put the stands in. That's really all they had to do. So it's pretty cool to see. I liked it. I hope they do like more like recreate it with movies because the average baseball fan is going to watch that game. The below average baseball fan, the person that watches maybe one game a month or whenever there's nothing on TV and there's a ball game on, yeah, we'll watch a ball game, right? There's people like that. So, and even for that type of crowd, it made you watch that game. I mean, everyone had to watch it. So that was pretty cool. And I think the Sandlot would do the same thing as well. And for baseball movies, in my opinion, those are really the only two you could really do, right? Like at a park.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of think back. You can't do Rookie of the Year because that's obviously at Wrigley. You can't do what's that? Little Big League because that's obviously played at the Metrodome in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I unlocked that stadium, by the way, in MLB The Show. I played in it. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, it is. The Metro?
Yeah. The Hubert H. Humphrey Memorial, like something like that.
I remember when the Vikings played there and the roof just collapsed in on a snowstorm.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Takes you back to the days of the Pontiac Silverdome, too.
Yeah, the dome.
Angels in the outfields just at Angel Stadium.
That's it. Like,
yeah, I like it. I mean, for the love of the game, that's just traveling around. Like, there's no real set location for that.
It's not like the Sandlot or Field of Dreams. Those are the only two where you could really do it. But it would be cool if they could recreate the Sandlot. If they could recreate the Sandlot, like, that would make a killing. I mean, because the Sandlot's one of probably the most popular baseball movies out there. I mean, obviously, Field of Dreams is up there, probably top two. The Sandlot is right there with it. So I think if they can do Sandlot too, it'd be really cool for baseball. Maybe flip it every other year. Because you don't want to make it like a Winter Classic or you just do 2 a year, right? Like the NHL kind of screwed up the outdoor games. Yeah,
but that doesn't even bother me, right? Because I mean, and this is coming up this weekend. Me either. This is coming up this weekend. I just saw the jerseys now, but the Little League Classic game is going down this weekend between the Indians and Angels. I saw the uniforms today. They're all right. But it's almost like that where it's kind of a thing where, there's this big tournament, teams from all over the world like playing to be the best Little League team on the entire planet this year, and they've found a way to incorporate Major League Baseball into it. Like the players from the teams that participate, they hang out with the kids like they do. They'll like play games and stuff and like, just hang out. They'll come talk and see some of the kids. And then the teams will come down and watch the game and they'll be in their little league jerseys. And it's awesome. That's an event that's like, wow, that actually worked out really well.
And that's another one that's right there too. And I think that's a series as well. I think that's it. Is it just the one game?
I think it's just one game.
Might be just a Sunday night.
I'll look
Sunday
right
night
now, but
it might just be the Sunday nighter.
Yeah.
It might be just a Sunday night baseball game. But that one's really cool too because you got that little league atmosphere, right? Like that's a cool experience there when they get the little league atmosphere, right? You get the kids there. Some of them watching their first ball games, right? Because the kids coming from the Netherlands and like other countries that aren't the United States or Canada who had the benefit this year to be able to go to the Rogers Center so far. You really haven't been able to watch a Major League Baseball game. And that's always a special event for people. That's a memory. I mean, going to a Major League Baseball game is a big deal. So that's pretty cool to see, like, a lot of kids seeing their first ball game and they're playing for the love of the game, right? And they get to see the guys they look up to, which is pretty cool. One of my favorite parts of the Little League World Series is the intros, like the pre-game intro. I mean, I'm Big Al and I like to hit dingers.
Yeah, that's awesome, eh?
That's the all-time. Or when the umpire made a call outside and the kid's like, I can't do the reaction because I don't think we're live, but that was awesome. You just, what? The kid was dazed. It was awesome. And it's just natural reactions, right? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that game goes down August 22nd. So that's coming Sunday at let me just get this park right, at Muncie Bank Ballpark at historic Bowman Field. This one is on ESPN.
Yeah, Sunday nighter.
Yeah. So that'll more than likely feature Matt Vasgersian and A-Rod, I think.
Yep. Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah. So it's just, and again, with people complaining about, baseball's not interesting enough. Well, they're like, you can say as much as you want for MLB not really trying, because there are some situations where you're like,
it's hit and miss.
Why are you doing this? That makes no sense. But at the same time, the Little League Classic, you think, like they're just going to go play at a Little League ballpark, or at the Little League World Series, it'll be like a one-time thing. It'll be cool 1 year, and then, it will kind of go away. Well, no, not really. It's still very popular. And of course, Field of Dreams game is the exact same way, but that was a hit right from the start. So this is Major League Baseball's attempt to bring the fan back and to get a fan engaged in the game again, if they were at one point, or if they never had been, they'd never watched the game. Like, this is a way to figure out to try and get more fans back into baseball, because baseball is a spectator sport. You go, you relax and enjoy yourself. Whereas, you get
a couple cold ones.
Yeah. You get into a hockey game, you get to a basketball game. It's, they're quick up the ice, up the court. Like, basketball, they're scoring 100 plus points a game, 130 points a game. There's a lot of scoring. It's kind of, it's fast paced. You got to be paying attention. Of course, hockey, if you're not paying attention, you'll get a puck in the face. So it's that sport that,
now that they put the netting up, you really can't get a baseball in the face.
Yeah. Which kind of sucks, because that takes away from fans getting the balls, but
it's tough. Also,
anyways, it's a spectator sport. And I think this is a really good attempt by Major League Baseball to try and recapture some of the fans that may have lost in the last few years.
And also for people saying that, like, Manfred, right? And I don't agree with Rob Manfred's pace of play rules. Like, I don't really agree with those to a T. I mean, with the pitcher's mound and stuff, I don't really agree with moving that. But the international game has grown so much. The international game of baseball has grown so much. And obviously on Twitter and stuff, all over social media, you see mostly people from the United States complaining about, like, Manfred and stuff, right? But we're sitting here in Canada right now tonight, and we look at every year in the draft, we see a Canadian go in either the first or second round, which is pretty cool to see. And you see people from Puerto Rico going in the first round. You see people from, like, Carousel. Like, you see Vander Bogaerts from Aruba. Like, that's pretty cool to see, And it's stuff like that where they have grown the game. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I take a prime example of the Olympics. Like, Masahiro Tanaka, no longer with the Yankees, goes on to pitch with Japan and is stellar.
Yeah.
And you just think about what these guys do over in the big leagues just translates back to when they go home and finally leave Major League Baseball. Like Hyunjin Ryu has already said that he's going to finish his career, in his home country. Right, that he's come out and he said that. Tanaka's doing the same thing right now. Obviously, you see that a little bit more with the Asian pitchers, and going over into China, Korea, Japan, wherever it may be. Maybe a little bit more so than guys who are from Mexico or the Dominican Republic or Cuba. It doesn't happen as often, but you look at the impact, and we don't get to see it on a regular basis, obviously. But when ESPN was able to show the KBO games, like obviously they didn't have full stadiums, but some parks did have fans. It was so cool.
And you hear this all the time. You hear these stories all the time from baseball players. The Dominican Winter League.
Yeah.
The Winter League there is the place to play. Winter League. It's like the atmosphere is really cool. Their guys come home to play in the winter, right? I mean, David Ortiz has played there. I mean, you'll probably see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. play in his home, like playing Dominican one day in the Winter League. You'll probably see that. And Yadier Molina played there before. I think he played there in the winter. He pitched there and anything. And I mean, when those people are there, it goes crazy. Like they're the main part of their towns and the villages there, Dominican and Puerto Rico. But they're like the mainstay. Like they have statues there. Like Big Papi's got a park in Dominican. Like it's pretty cool to see how like big baseball is, and it's not just in the States, which is what it's all about. It's a worldwide game. I mean, obviously Japan's grown massively, Korea's grown massively with Darvish, Ryu. Like it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Hopefully we can get that fan back, that average fan back in Major League.
A quick question. So I got the YouTube game on. We're recording on Tuesday night. So yesterday night for listeners, but so I had the YouTube game on, Blue Jay fan, and this question came up in the top of the third after Vladimir Guerrero.
Like someone commented?
No, this YouTube question. If you had one at bat to win a game, who's your hitter? A, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., B, Shohei Ohtani, C, Juan Soto, D, Fernando Tatis Jr. I think it's one of the first two. As of now.
Can I pick 2012 Miguel Cabrera?
I knew you were going to do that. Hey, that's a good segue for the next segment.
Yeah, we'll get to Miguel Cabrera after the break, but that's tough. Because it's you look at Juan Soto. He doesn't have help. He doesn't have help anymore. Like, why would you pitch to him? Who scares you after Juan Soto? Ryan Zimmerman? Okay, maybe like he'll hit a bomb every 10th game, but like other than that, that's where I see it. And that's why I think Miguel Cabrera's stats kind of got halted a little bit, and he didn't get to 500 or 3,000 as quickly as some people may thought, is because Tigers shipped everyone away. Why would you pitch to him? There was no to. Yeah, it was just I think that's the situation you have with Juan Soto, is there's a good reason not to pitch to him. So why would you? So I think that rules him out, because he's never going to get a great pitch to hit, obviously, unless the bases are loaded, then you have to. Yeah. But
that's a tough one. Like Ohtani's hit and miss, right? Ohtani will put together really good at bats, but he hit that home run. But then like average wise, right? It's tough with Vladdy having the year he's having, and obviously with Tatis. I mean, like it's tough. Vladdy being in the Triple Crown mix is pretty tough not to put him up there.
Yeah,
he was leading the votes. 53% was Vladdy. And it's interesting to see a Blue Jay rated that high, because you really don't see Blue Jays win votes around baseball like that, right? So that was something interesting to me. I mean, as you know, Detroit fans, you really don't see much either, right? So it's interesting. It's always nice to see somebody, but all those markets, really, who you going to pick? It's not a Yankee, right? It's not a Red Sox. So that's nice to see as well.
Yeah, I enjoy that very much.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Yankee, you're going to get K's, and with Red Sox, you might get a lot of rollovers or lazy fly balls. So yeah, that's tough.
Need a break?
No, I don't think I need a break. I think Vladdy's a pretty easy option.
But it's hard not to go with Tatis. That's the thing.
I know.
That's who my two is, Vladdy or Tatis.
Yeah.
And when they came up, those are the top two. Funny how 2 years makes a difference, eh? When Toronto fans last year were writing Vladdy off.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. This guy didn't hit a home run in his first at bat. Well, he must not be that good.
Yeah, he's a bust.
Yeah, exactly. All right, go ahead.
I gotta go Vladdy.
Yeah, that's a safe option. But we do have to get to the break. When we come back, Miguel Cabrera is on the verge of hitting his 500th home run. Who knows? He may have done it by the time you're listening to this. And of course, also chasing 3,000 hits. We might get to, and I think we probably should get to this. It's not as great of an accomplishment as Miguel Cabrera getting 3,000 hits, but Joey Votto recording his 2,000th hit.
Yeah,
as a Canadian talent.
Best Canadian all time.
He's in the conversation.
Have that question after the break.
Yeah, we can get into that for sure. And then
of course
the Blue Jays are they're in baseball.
Yeah, they're there.
They're doing extremely well right now.
I had tough Springer news.
Yeah.
Had a no-hitter around baseball as well. Rule 5, no-hitter. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, first start.
That's good to see. Yeah, family there, that made it special. That was my favorite. Well, you know what? We'll talk about it later. Yeah, we'll take the break. We'll come back. We'll touch on all of those topics and we'll share a little bit more right here on the Full Count MLB podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving traditional style Italian pizzas made with the freshest top quality ingredients. Loaded subs and their famous chicken wings. Winners of the Reader's Choice Diamond Award 4 years running from Niagara this week for best pizza and wings in Niagara Falls. Home of the best tray and wing combo in town for the price and quality. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery at 905-374-4400. Make sure to like them on Facebook and view their website for their menu at carmine'spizzeria.ca. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano. Way too good. As we all adjust to this new world that we're living in today, masks are now mandatory. And Niagara's own Custom PPE is Canada's leading face mask provider. Visit them online at customppe.ca and choose between several mask options with different colors and sizes. Add your organization, company, or team logo so you make your face masks unique. Available to purchase online 24/7 at customppe.ca and shipped within 1 week. They have the best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, and no order is too big or too small. Also offering custom floor stickers as well as face and counter shields for your business or workplace. Visit customppe.ca and use the code ARMCHAIR at checkout for 20% off your custom or blank face mask today. Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Attention job seekers, if you are currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls, directly across from the Camisos Plaza. Their free services include resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and all their services are currently provided by appointment only. So give them a call at 905-358-0021 or visit their website at ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
Welcome back to the AGM Full Count Baseball Podcast. Here with Reece, Colin Ward, and it's time for the Miggy segment. I know, Reece, you're excited for this one. I mean, Miguel Cabrera, he's your guy. So, one away from 500. You may have gotten it tonight. As mentioned, we're recording on Tuesday night, and the games are still going. It's like 10 after 8 right now on the Tuesday evening, August 17th. So, you may have got it tonight. He's had 2 at-bats in the game. So, he may have gotten it already, but if he has, congrats to Miggy. But if not, Reece, I mean, what a career he's had, future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You can elaborate more on Miggy than I can, but you being a Tigers fan, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I almost thinking, I don't know if we have to have this discussion like right now, but is he going to be the second guy to be unanimously voted into the Hall of Fame? And again, I think it's a discussion worth having, whether we do it right now or at the end of the segment's a different story. But Miguel Cabrera, you could tell he was just going to be great when he first came up with the Florida Marlins. And his first season in 87 games, 268. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but again, he's a rookie. Hit 12 home runs, drove in 62 runs, and that just skyrocketed from there. In his second season in 04 and 05, he hit 33 bombs in each season, 112 RBIs in 04, 116 in 05. And he had, let me just count this, 04 to 14. He had 11 straight seasons where he drove in 100 runs or more.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And like, how many guys can you look at and say, yeah, that guy for sure did that, or that guy for sure yeah, there might be quite a few, but not,
12 out of 13. Ton. Yeah, 12 out of 13, 100 RBI seasons is pretty spectacular. I mean, 11-time All-Star, 2-time MVP. And another thing about the Hall of Fame topic, Reece, when you look at how Derek Jeter had similar packages, and Miguel Cabrera, honestly, is probably more liked than Derek Jeter. Boston fans, New York fans can all probably agree on one thing, that Miguel Cabrera is one of the greatest all time. And Derek Jeter had his haters, right? Not everybody liked Derek Jeter. But you don't see, if you talk to 10 baseball fans, probably all 10 would say they liked Miguel Cabrera. They think he's a Hall of Famer. So that's another thing where it's like he has that it factor. You look at the big two. Do they obviously their numbers, they have to be good. They have to be at least a 2-time MVP, probably, to be a unanimous Hall of Famer. He has that. He has the accomplishments. It's tough. It's tough because he did get the World Series ring, obviously, but it's tough the Tigers didn't pull it out in 2012. That was unfortunate. We had the Triple Crown season, one of the best seasons all time, and frankly, not a lot of players are going to do that. I mean, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is having a heck of a season, and it's not even close to what Miguel Cabrera did. So that's the type of things where you really admire about Miguel Cabrera. For Blue Jay fans listening to this show, Miguel Cabrera in 2012 had a better season than what Vladdy's having this year. That's how good Miguel Cabrera was. And he still is a quality hitter. He still puts together good at-bats. Hit 2 home runs the other day in Baltimore, in the series. He's still got some pop in that bat. And another thing that impresses me about Miguel Cabrera, he really hit to all fields. He hits a ball out the other way more than he pulls it, which is very cool to see, right? Because he doesn't have an ego about him, which is huge for my first category to be a unanimous Hall of Famer. My second to be a unanimous Hall of Famer, you have to be well-liked around baseball. You have to be that person that doesn't have the ego, right? The fans like you, which is huge. And you have to give time to the fans as well. Miguel Cabrera always gives time to Tigers fans. Miguel Cabrera, I have a memory of Miguel Cabrera. I mean, a lot of people that if you're fortunate enough to sit around first base or sit around the Tigers dugout, you have a memory with Miguel Cabrera. He's the friendliest guy in baseball. Miguel Cabrera is one of the friendliest guys in baseball. You see it all the time, at least once a week. If that shows Miguel Cabrera on deck, he's talking to a fan. I mean,
that could be visiting team fans, or if he's on the road talking to other teams' fans. Like I remember he gave a guy in Cleveland a big bear hug. Like that's hilarious.
And that was very cool in Cleveland when the kid there scooped the ball down the line. Picked that ball down the line. He's pointing at like, I got you. Up in his chest, I got you.
Well, and then maybe he went on to give him a bat and batting gloves. Like that's sick.
The guy's got Cleveland Indians jersey on. He's got a Cleveland Indians hat on. He's a Cleveland fan. And Miguel Cabrera, it doesn't matter what team. That's why Cleveland Indian fans, they know Miguel Cabrera he's one of the greatest all time. And it's stuff like that goes very long way. That is, honestly, it should be, and it should sway in the decision to be unanimous Hall of Famer. You should have to be well respected from the fans. The fans should like you, and you should be able to put time in for the fans. You're a Major League Baseball player. Reece, growing up, Major League Baseball players were the world dogs.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, you see a guy, in mosquito baseball, a quick story about me. I was a terrible hitter, but every game I'd have a new batting stance from a player. But the guy, hey, pitchers don't hit, but the guy, American League guy all the way. But so I'd be in one game and I'd be this guy. The next game I'd want to be David Ortiz. Just imitating batting stances. And the guy would hit you wake up in the morning, right? And you watch the baseball highlights and you see this guy hit a home run and you want to be that guy. Miguel Cabrera sitting for the Triple Crown. You want to be that guy. So it's players like that give time to the fans and they're fun. You want to watch them play. Should go a long way to be a unanimous Hall of Famer. Miguel Cabrera definitely has those. He definitely has all the tools that you want out of a baseball player. My story was, so in Detroit, it was like 3 years ago, 2018, I want to say 2018, maybe 2017. The Jays were there on a weekend series, and we were sitting in the second row behind the Tigers on deck circle, to the right of the Tigers on deck circle. And so Miguel Cabrera comes up, and he's on deck to lead off the inning, and there's a couple Tiger fans there. And they go, Maggie hit a home run for us. And he just turned around. And you don't expect this, right? Because, being a Blue Jay fan, Jose Bautista, you really didn't see that out of him, right?
Yeah.
You really didn't see that out of Jose Bautista on deck. You didn't. And Miguel Cabrera just turned around. And he's like, I'll try, brother. And,
that's
he goes
sick.
up. Yeah, so he goes up and he flew out, right? He, came over and apologized. And he goes, I owe you. After his at bat. So he took off his batting gloves and just put it underneath the protective netting underneath the backstop and gave it to the fan. It's stuff like that no one really knows, right? And Miguel Cabrera, ever since, and I was always a Miguel Cabrera fan. The Tigers are my second favorite team in baseball, being a Detroit fan. The Wings obviously are my hockey team, and then the Lions and Tigers being my second teams in their sports. But it's just stuff like that that's very cool to me, that stands out when you can give time to the fans. And Miguel Cabrera doing that, I'll never forget that. And to see that, it made a Tigers fan's day, and just to see Miguel Cabrera do that was something really special to see and something I'll always remember.
Well, for me, it's almost like I'm the biggest Venezuelan baseball fan of all time.
Yeah. That's like you for a Rubens. Yeah. I want to get into Vander Bogart, Aruba, Netherlands jersey.
That'd be pretty sweet.
With the Aruban flag on we have the Aruban. I'm outside doing the show, and I actually have the Aruban flag on the pool deck.
Really? That's not a green screen behind
you? It's a tree. It looks like I'm in a tree fort, eh?
A little bit,
I'm in the middle of a tree. I should have the Aruban flag hanging behind me. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
for baseball show. Have the Canadian baseball flag on one side and the Aruban on the other.
That'd be awesome. I love Aruba. But yeah, anyways, it seems like it's been Venezuelan players for me, because before Miguel Cabrera came around to Detroit, anyways, I was Maglio Ordonez all the way.
I have his T-shirt. I have an Ordonez.
Yeah, he was my first Tigers jersey, Maglio Ordonez. So, a lot of people were kind of like, "Oh, why did they pay him all that money?" And it goes, "Oh, because he just hit a walk-off home run to send the Tigers to the World Series in 2006," and that kind of just shows that just something drew me to me. And then when Miguel Cabrera came, and they were kind of that 1-2 punch like we saw with Fielder and Cabrera in 12 and 13, that was kind of Miggy and Mags. You had Mags who had the long hair, and then Miguel Cabrera who just raked. And it was just awesome to see those two.
Was Granderson there that first year?
Oh yeah, Granderson.
He was good. Then he went to the Yankees and got paid. They had 52 home runs in that bandbox.
He was so underrated as a Detroit Tiger. Curtis Granderson, he was so good.
That's why I mentioned that, because Curtis Granderson was very underrated.
Yeah, that's one thing I've kind of seen with Detroit is you look at center fielders that they've had, and they haven't had the best hitting center fielders, but they've had some of the best defensive center fielders.
If Austin Jackson played in Toronto in 2012, Kevin Pillar wouldn't have existed.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
Kevin Pillar is one of the most overrated Blue Jays all time.
I agree.
All time. And I don't care who wants to argue me on that. There's no argument needed. Kevin Pillar would swing at a pitch outside the batter's box. That's just a fact. Watch the video.
Yeah.
Right. And it's no comparison, Austin Jackson to Kevin Pillar, in my opinion.
Not even.
Austin Jackson was a huge part of that run in 2012.
Not even close. By the way, Miguel Cabrera just struck out. That sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Austin, it's not even close. Curtis Granderson, Vernon Wells, Curtis Granderson, I don't think that was even close. I think Curtis Granderson is miles ahead of Vernon Wells, in my opinion.
Really?
Oh, not even close.
Vernon Wells got paid a lot because he meant a lot to Toronto. I mean, he stood me up on photo day. We went to photo day every day, right?
You love telling this story.
Yeah, him and Greg Zahn were the only two that didn't.
Yeah, well, Greg.
Roy Halladay was a really good memory. Roy Halladay, I like 3 pictures in my room hanging up.
Greg Zahn was the only player to do steroids and do worse. So
it's a fact. It's a fact.
But one last thing on Miggy that kind of makes him a pretty good candidate to be a unanimous Hall of Famer. He's been in the league since 2003. The least amount of at bats that he's had in his career happened in 2018. He had 38 at bats, and that's clearly because of injury that season. But he has hit above 250 every year of his career, but once. And that was in 2017. He hit 249.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Honestly, so you think about it, you look at these players like 250, that's horrible. He gets out every fourth at bat. So
hit a major league fastball.
Yeah, exactly. 250 is a good average. Is it great? No. It's good. Like Miguel Cabrera's he's gonna hit over 300 in his career. He's at 311 right now. That's gonna stick around that area between the 308, 312 mark. He's gonna finish around there. And when you look at his last couple of years, 250 last year, 251 this year, 282 in 2019, which is really good. 250 is not a bad batting average.
No.
And it bugs me when people complain that, oh, well, why didn't he hit 300 if he's a first ballot Hall of Famer? People get old. It happens.
Reece, we obviously, and I got to be careful what I say, obviously, but we cover the IBL. And I've watched it almost my whole life. I mean, you've watched it as well. And we've saw some really good players play in the intercounty. And I mean, there's a lot of guys that play college baseball. There's a lot of guys who've been drafted that play in the intercounty. Right now, I don't see one player in the intercounty that would bat over 250 at the major league level. That's how tough it is. And the intercounty has some bats in the league. They have some drafted players in the league. That's how hard it is.
Yeah.
So just a perspective.
When you think about some of the imports the Brantford Red Sox have had, and you talked about a couple of seasons ago, Abel De Los Santos was very high on the Reds' radar. It just never worked out.
It would have been interesting to see Alberto Callaspo this year in Welland. That would have been interesting to see how good he is, to see how the difference is. Obviously, he's not at the age where you expected him to be, where you expect him to hit like 300 at the majors or expect him to hit 250 plus at the majors. But it would have been interesting to see because he's like 2 years out of the major league level. That would be interesting to see how he looks in the IBL. He'd be the one to me that would be the measuring stick to see, okay, how's his baseball caliber, right?
Yeah. That would have been pretty cool, actually. Yeah. Well, I mean, some people are kind of like, is he going to come over? Because some of the Americans have started to come over with them being allowed to cross the border now. So that would have been really interesting.
Yeah, for the local listeners, Welland, just down the road, the Welland Jackfish. Alberto Callaspo's right. He's signed there. He can come over.
Yep.
Wonder if he does. That'd be interesting.
That would have been pretty cool.
Joey Votto?
Yeah, let's quickly touch on Joey Votto. 2,000 hits for Joey Votto, and what is it, 300 home runs?
Yeah.
I think Joey Votto got to. So, I mean, yeah, we'll get into the topic. There's been a lot of really good Canadian hitters.
Oh, there has. Larry Walker's one.
Yeah, Larry Walker is really the one guy where I put him in the same category. Obviously, in terms of hitters, like pitchers, Fergie Jenkins, he was unreal, Hall of Famer, no question about it. Like, but it's Larry Walker and Joey Votto. I think 1-2. You could consider Matt Stairs kind of, because he was one of the best pinch hitters of all time. But I mean, in terms of full-time guys where you looked at and you're like, oh, it's your day off, not anymore. You're gonna go in the box, hit a home run. Joey Votto, Larry Walker, all day.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. So right now, Joey Votto's career batting average is .303. He's a 6-time All-Star. He's an MVP. He has a Gold Glove.
Mm-hmm.
He has 19 more accolades as well. He has 321 bombs. He has 26 this year. He had one of the most impressive streaks all time in baseball. Larry Walker about a .313 career average, had 383 home runs. That's probably as close as it gets. The one thing where it gives Walker the edge, he always came to represent his country. Larry Walker never turned down the opportunity, and he came out, he retired, and he went and coached first base for Team Canada at the World Baseball Classic. Yeah. That was the cool part to me about Larry Walker. He was always around for Canadians, like to play, represent his country, which is really cool. And obviously now with the Players Association, it's kind of different from back then. So obviously there's the exception for Votto, but it's very interesting. I mean, I would still say Walker's the best all time, but Votto's definitely the second for what he's meant. And I remember when he was on the video game representing the Canadian cover. I remember that. And it was like such a big deal to see a Canadian, right? To be able to get a Canadian.
Instead of just a Blue Jay.
Yeah, that was very cool to see a Canadian baseball player on the front of MLB The Show. And Joey Votto's another one where he's not the most talkative. He's obviously not like Miguel Cabrera where he's going to talk to anybody, but Votto has had like altercations with fans, his own fans sometimes. Oh, yeah. And it's fun to watch him play. And to me, he'd be the second best all time, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer. And it's very impressive to see him.
Yeah, well, and you also look at it too. You don't see it too much nowadays, but all of Joey Votto's career has been spent in Cincinnati. Yeah. And a lot of people could look at it as, why would you want to stay in Cincinnati? Like, I went to Cincinnati. I'd buy season tickets if I was rich. That ballpark is so nice.
Very nice park.
Who would not want to play there? It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, Joey Votto, all of his years from age 23 up to now, and he's 37 years old, all with the Reds, even though they really have never had an opportunity at chasing a World Series. Obviously, there was a lot of hope in the late 2000s. Then Roy Halladay happened, but kind of no hit them. But like he's never been close to winning a World Series, which is really unfortunate. But you know, sometimes you get that when you stay with the same team. Like obviously Miguel Cabrera is going through it right now. The Tigers are garbage. He had his opportunity. He was so close with Detroit. Obviously he's won with Florida, but you know, he never won with Detroit. 2010, 12, 13. And 2020 have been Joey Votto's only shots at, playing for a World Series and playing in the playoffs. And, in 2020, it was the wild card game and they lost to Atlanta.
And that's going to be the question too at Joey Votto. Does he leave the Reds? If the Reds can't pull it out this year, does he leave the Reds? What happens there with the Reds is interesting. Because the Reds have had a quietly good year.
Yeah. So I should say that was a wild card series. I forgot 2020 ended it. So they were swept by Atlanta in 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. He's second best to me, but obviously a Hall of Fame career for sure, Joey Votto.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree with that, 100%. All right.
Quick Tyler Gilbert update with the no-hitter. Quick touch on that a little bit. Tyler Gilbert's no-hitter against San Diego Padres, nevertheless, pretty cool to see in front of his family, the Rule 5 pick, in front of his family. That's pretty cool. I think that's the best no-hitter this year out of the 8. I mean, 8, that's pretty special to see. And I think that's the best one in my opinion. I mean, his family was there. They got to witness that. I mean, you see his dad all emotional like that. It's nice to see the emotions in the game. And now it's really cool to see, in my opinion. Tyler Gilbert's no-hitter is probably the best this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased. Spencer Turnbull's hit one, so it's kind of tough for me to go against that. But
yeah, I'm a Tiger fan.
I mean, your MLB debut, like, who expects to do that?
Yeah. Especially when he's went through it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. So
yeah, I really enjoyed that. Had to watch the highlights of that game.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I was watching the Jays.
Yeah.
They're in the late game in Seattle.
Just saw the score now. 7-1. Ugh.
Yeah. Not good. But Shed took a ball off the ankle of his foot. So that's another one to look out for. As George Springer goes in the IL, which is a big hurt for the Blue Jays. I mean, he brought a lot of energy to that team. We'll touch on the Jays though when we come back. We need a break.
Yeah, we'll take a break. Yeah. We'll take a break, come back. The Toronto Blue Jays will be our last topic. Got about 10, 12 minutes or so. So
stick around.
Should give us enough time to talk Jays because they suck right now.
Yeah. But
keywords right now. You never know really what could happen. So we'll take a break. We will come back and we will discuss the Toronto Blue Jays right here on the Full Count MLB podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Experience a new way to play daily fantasy sports and esports on Thrive Fantasy. Thrive's game concept revolves around player props, which are simple over-unders on player stats. There are contests for traditional sports including the NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and cricket, as well as esports titles including CSGO, Dota 2, League of Legends, and more coming soon. Here's how to play. Choose your lineup of over-unders for top-tier athletes that have the biggest impact on the game. Each prop has a fantasy point total based on how likely it is to hit. The more points the selection is worth, the riskier it is. Rack up the most points and win a share of the prize pool. Thrive is awarded over $2 million in cash, so come and prop up today.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
Welcome back to the Full Count MLB podcast. I'm Reece along with Colin Ward, and the Blue Jays are our final topic of this week's show. And
last night was fun.
Yeah, sure, you could say that.
Yeah, 8-1 right now. 8:30. Well, 20-9.
Yep.
It is 8-1 right now in the bottom of the fourth. I mean, obviously there's a lot of baseball left, but 8-1, bottom of the fourth. Now top of fifth. I don't know.
Look at it. Blue Jays contend, win, Nationals sell, lose. What's going on here? Why?
It's been the story all year. Honestly, it's been the story all year. The bullpen. The bullpen, it's been tough, but this isn't the bullpen. Alek Manoah just had a tough night tonight, and it's going to happen because Alek Manoah's been great. But maybe the Blue Jay fans should tame it down a little bit on Rookie of the year, Alek Manoah, Rookie of the year. I mean, there's a lot of players having really good seasons. I mean, Akil Baddoo's having one of the best seasons any real fly players ever had in Detroit.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of players having really good rookie seasons. So maybe tame it down a little bit.
Will not be there, yeah.
Yeah.
He won't even be in the top 5.
He would have to win another 5 starts. He would have to go like 10-1 to be in that conversation. You'd have to have at least 10 wins to be in that conversation. You have to have your ERA under like 2.9. You have to be under that. So you have to be in the 2.8s or lower. And tonight obviously was a tough one for him, but I don't see that being in the Rookie of the Years. I think they should tame that down a little bit. Blue Jay fans, obviously he's having a really good year. Tonight's just one bad game. He's having a really good year. In my opinion, he has passed Nate Pearson in the pitching prospects levels for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Right now, and it's just a bad night. It's going to happen, right? His next night he could be Cy Young. Tonight he looks like Neil Young. So hopefully, I like that one.
Not bad.
Hopefully he's on. Hopefully he's on next game. It happens. It's just one bad game, and on to the next start. But good for. I mean, he's having a good year. tough night tonight. Obviously, devastating news with George Springer. Very tough news, George Springer going down. That's not fun. I mean, he brought so much energy to that team. I mean, the home run he hit in Toronto there, then the Boston series like that. It was just that's a devastating injury to have George Springer go down for them. George Springer well, he hasn't played a lot of games, but in those games he's made he's meant a lot to that ball club. And I mean, they've won so many games with him than without him. So that's a big loss for sure. The Blue Jays spending this year, the deadline them buying, I think that's to get everybody into it for next year. I think Julian Merriweather getting hurt early on in the year really hurt. I mean, Julian Merriweather is a guy really where you can't really depend on him right away like everyone thinks they can. I mean, Julian Merriweather's been hurt in AAA. He's really talented. Obviously, when he plays, he's really good. But he's got to play. He's got to stay healthy. And that's a big task in baseball when you play 162 games. It's very hard to stay healthy. That's why teams lose. That's why teams win. So there's another one there, too, where the bullpen hasn't been really good. I mean, and it has to be good, and it just hasn't. And they've lost a lot of games in division early on in the year where it's kind of like it's kind of too late now, to really turn that around. So that's kind of tough. That's kind of tough where they lost 3 out of 4 earlier on to Boston in May, and everyone says, oh, it's early. Yeah, but it's August right now. We're 4 games out. We're 4 games out in May. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. You have to win those head-to-head games. It doesn't matter. It does not matter when you play those games in division. You have to win those games. They had to win those games. I mean, they've done well against Baltimore this year. They have to compete. You have to beat Baltimore. They have, but you go lose that series to Seattle, right? And then you go lose a couple games to the Angels where you should have won. Those are the ones you gotta win. And then as of now, you go lose the first game of 2 to Washington, a team that is down and out. They traded 11 guys at the deadline. I mean, you traded an impact guys. You traded like Yan Gomes. Yan Gomes is a very underrated catcher in baseball, one of the best catchers in baseball, very underrated. There's a guy there the Nationals traded. I mean, Scherzer, Turner, obviously. In Brad Hand, he hasn't been great for the Jays. I mean, he's been 50-50.
Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, Schwarber. I mean, Schwarber was on a tear. Schwarber was on a tear with the Nationals. If Schwarber doesn't get hurt, the Nationals might die. In that division, in that National League East, the Nationals might be in a position to buy if Schwarber doesn't get hurt. So that's another one where they trade all these guys. That's a serious thing. The Jays got to come in and win 8-1. This is the type of series where they got to get in there for 2 games and get out quick with 2 wins. And tonight with the Yankees, Red Sox playing, you're going to gain a game on one of the teams. That lead would go down. Now,
with it being a doubleheader.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden you go back to 5. So it's very hard to pass 3 to 4 teams when you're 5 games back in the middle of August. It's very hard. But if they can win their next 9 out of 10, and we're sitting here in 2 weeks saying, oh, as they're on a heater, then it's a different story. But this is crunch time now, and it's massive weight on Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s shoulders as well, and Marcus Semien, because they got to kind of take that load. And it's not just them because they've been playing great, but it's the Lourdes Gurriels, it's the Bichettes. Those guys step up now without Springer. You got to find somebody to really overperform with Springer down.
Yeah. Well, I'm back on your point, Alek Manoah. There will be 2 Tigers ahead of him in rookie voting. I can guarantee that. But yeah, and the argument's always been made, especially this season, about, well, the Jays are in the AL East. Could you imagine if they were in a different division? Well, they're not. Get over it. Yeah. They are not in a different division. Like, you look at it, the American League Central Division, the Jays would be miles ahead. Maybe not miles.
Not necessarily with the White Sox. The White Sox might be better.
No. I'm not talking about the White Sox. The White Sox would be ahead of the Jays anyways. I'm talking about, like, Jays would be in second place in the AL Central. Where that, you know what, people make the argument about that, but that's really the only other division where you look at it as the Jays could be in such a much better position. But because you look at the AL West, Houston,
not better than Oakland.
Not better than Oakland. They're the same as Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, they've played 2 less games in Seattle, but they're in the same spot.
Yeah, and they should be embarrassed to be in that with Seattle. Seattle is a team that really separated their clubhouse at the deadline. And that was one where a lot of fans weren't happy because Seattle was finally in it. But the Blue Jays should be miles ahead. And I think the big problem is a lot of fans overvalue the Blue Jays as Teoscar Hernandez goes deep. So, hey, maybe he's really hitting well, too. So Teoscar really stepped it up as well. But they got to take care of business. This week's big for them. They have to beat the Nationals, at least one out of the two now, and they have to win 2 out of the 3 against the Tigers.
Yeah.
And the Tigers are red hot as well. The Tigers are very underrated.
Tigers are going to sweep. Just kidding. They probably won't.
Well, honestly, I would not be surprised the Tigers are a good ball team. Tigers are playing good baseball.
Yeah. Well, that's what AJ Hinch is trying to do. As much as people can give him crap for that whole Houston thing, like AJ Hinch has found a way to get to the Tigers and say, we don't have to win. Just play like you're going to win. Play winning baseball, whether you lose 8-1 or win 5-4. Like if you do things that make it look like you should win a ball game, then there's a good chance you're going to win a ball game. And that's what you have to do with a team like the Tigers is there is quite a bit of major league experience, a lot more than people think, but they're not ready to compete whatsoever. You can clearly tell that they're not a playoff team. Give it another year or two, they will be there. But, it's just a matter of getting these guys to say, hey, we didn't make an error this game. We played the best defense we possibly could have, and they scored 2 more runs than we did. Yeah. And that's where you look at. That's where you say, okay, what adjustments can we make at the plate and kind of, see where we're at and, measure ourselves in another 10 days or so. And AJ Hinch is a great manager for that. I don't really see Charlie Montoyo as a manager who's going to preach to say, hey, like, just got to give it a little time. It almost seems like he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders where
the fans.
You're clearly going to get that with a team that's expected to win, whereas Detroit not expected to win. So there's not as much pressure on AJ Hinch's shoulders, but you're still a major league manager. You still have to go out, perform, compete. And I think just AJ Hinch is doing a lot better job of it than Charlie Montoyo is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree on that. I mean, Montoyo has his struggles, that's for sure. And AJ Hinch has a winning pedigree, which is big. I mean, say what you want about the Astros, but the Astros still had a good year after that. Yeah. A good year last year. And I mean, the Astros are a good ball. They're a good ball club. They still are a good ball club, and Tigers are going to get that. And for the Jays, I mean, the Springer edition, they got a little bit of that too, right? That's energy. The Springer's been there before, so they got that energy. But I don't know. It's a tough experiment right now. I think that this year, with last year, they go all in on batting. I mean, with Simeon and Springer.
Yeah.
I think this year they go all in on pitching. Who that is, I don't really know. I mean, I think it's going to be via the trade. I think there's going to be a pitcher via trade in the offseason coming around winter meetings. I mean, the Jays acquire a pitcher. And then you may also, obviously you'll see a free agent signing as well, but I think you'll see a trade happen. I mean, it's not the ideal, but there's so many guys that are older free agents where, 1 year, that's good, right? You might be able to take a waiver on a guy 1 year, $18 million a year, like a Marcus Semien deal with a pitcher. You might be able to swing that. But if you can get a pitcher with control, a lot like Jose Barrios, where you get the 2 years out of Barrios, right, this year and next year, you may have to do that, take on another one where you get next year out of a pitcher, then you go all in for next year, and it sets you up for 2 years from now as well. So then you look at it, this year, a fun year, right? You finish outside, it's not that fun, but next year you go take those 2 steps backward to those 2 steps forwards for the next 2 years, where that obviously puts you over the hump to be a World Series contender if you can go add 2 pitchers like that. So that's my thoughts on it right now. I think that next year, come June, if they are where they are this year, Charlie Montoyo is not the manager. I mean, I've thought that all along. We've talked about that a lot, about Charlie Montoyo not being their manager for when they're good. I'm surprised he's still there. I was surprised they picked up his option. I was really surprised because I thought Schneider was going to be the next manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. He managed those guys down in New Hampshire with Vladdy and the Bichettes, the Gurriels. he managed those guys, and I just assumed, well, he'd be their guy when they're good, right? They farmed these players. Now they farmed their manager, and I thought that was a perfect combination for the team. So that might be the case, but don't be surprised if you see that move this offseason with Montoya, or come June next year, the Jays are not where they should be. And I mean, everyone around baseball should think the Blue Jays should be in the top 2 in their division next season. They should be with that lineup. They should be. So that's going to be the topic to me, where if they're out of it in June, you may see a coaching change there.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Good way to end the show too.
Yeah, fun one.
Worked out really well. Hopefully we can see Miguel Cabrera get his 500th in Toronto. Colin and I will be at the game one of the days, Saturday or Sunday. We're still trying to figure that out. Hopefully we'll be able to see it. Hopefully people tune in for it. That'd be nice. But that does it for this week's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the Niagara region. As always, you can follow my co-host Colin Ward at ColinWard_14, and follow myself at Reece Dumaney. And then, of course, on our dedicated account for the show, the at AGM Full Count Pod. Big thanks to the listeners and baseball fans for tuning in and listening along with us for another episode. We hope to see you back in the next installment of the Full Count MLB podcast. And thanks so much for tuning in. You've been listening to the MLB Full Count MLB podcast right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.